Zack D Films is quickly becoming one of the most popular YouTubers, even surpassing Mr. Beast in growth. His animated videos attract millions of views, making him a standout creator. However, in some of his short videos, he made a few mistakes, but the way he dealt with them might not be what you'd expect.
Oh my God! Wow!
In August 2024, Zack released a short video investigating a bizarre and unexpected case of cold drinks like Mountain Dew damaging our bodies that had sparked curiosity online. With his signature animated storytelling, Zack broke down the details, but not everything he presented was entirely accurate.
A man claimed he found a dead mouse inside a can of Mountain Dew he was drinking, so he sued the soda's parent company, PepsiCo. PepsiCo argued that Mountain Dew's highly acidic formula would actually dissolve a mouse body into a jelly-like substance before anyone could ever even notice it in the can. This odd defense left consumers worrying about what the soda really does to the human body if it can liquefy a mouse.
Another YouTuber, Edward Pinzaru, decided to put Zack's video to the test. After watching it, he set up his own experiment, placing a toy mouse, a piece of chicken breast, and a real dead mouse into 3 separate jars filled with soda. He then sealed them and let them sit for an entire month. When the time finally came, Edward noted that the green liquid had turned quite acidic and was curious to see how the soda had affected the meat. After weeks of waiting, he finally opened the jars.
A mouse left in Mountain Dew for 30 days would completely dissolve, according to this video.
Mountain Dew's highly acidic formula would actually dissolve a mouse body.
But I want to see if that claim is true.
So I bought
An actual dead mouse, normally made for snakes and stuff.
as well as a piece of chicken and a toy mouse. Then I filled 3 glass jars to the brim with Mountain Dew, and I placed the fake mouse, the chicken, and the real mouse in each jar to see what 30 days does to them. Mountain Dew's formula is pretty acidic, with a pH of around 3 to 4. So let's see what 30 days did.
Honestly, I don't know which one is which.
Meaning you'll see my first reaction to the results.
Let's see what happened to this one. Oh, that's the chicken.
It looked normal from afar, but
Oh, it's very malleable.
the acidity broke down the soft organic tissue of the chicken, making it very easy to tear apart. Then came jar 2.
3, 2, 1. Is that the actual rat?
It looked normal, but when I grabbed it,
Oh my God. I don't even know if I'm like,
it split in 2. In the toy mouse,
hey, look at that. He survived perfect.
Zack wasn't entirely wrong in this case, he was simply repeating what PepsiCo had claimed. The real question is, how much time does it actually take for Mountain Dew to go from the factory to store shelves? But one of Zack's most puzzling mistakes involved the Monty Hall problem. You might not recognize the name, but chances are you've heard of this classic brain teaser. It's often explained using a car and 2 goats. Here's how it goes. You're given 3 doors to choose from. Behind one is a brand new sports car, while the other 2 hide goats. You pick a door, let's say number 1. Then, the host opens another door, revealing a goat behind door number 3. Now, you're given a choice. Stick with your original pick or switch to the remaining door. Mathematically, switching increases your chances of winning to 2/3, while sticking with your first choice leaves you with only a 1/3 chance. Zack attempted to break this concept down in his video, but instead of using doors, he illustrated it with 3 colored wires, leading to some confusion.
Imagine you're trying to deactivate a bomb with a red, yellow, and blue wire. Now, one of these wires is the correct option, and snipping it will stop the bomb from exploding. But the other 2 wires will cause the bomb to go off if they're snipped. You choose the yellow wire, but before you snip it, you learn that the red wire would detonate the bomb. So now you must choose between yellow or blue. And you might assume that it doesn't matter because it's 50-50, but that's not actually the case. In the beginning, each wire had a 1/3 chance of being correct. When you chose yellow, the other 2 wires had a combined chance of 2/3. And when red was identified as the wrong wire, the odds didn't actually change, they were just reflected onto the blue wire, which means your chances are better if you switch to blue.
Zack's explanation of the Monty Hall problem wasn't quite right. In his version, the fact that the red wire would trigger an explosion was independent of the person choosing the yellow wire. However, for the Monty Hall logic to apply, the red wire needed to be revealed as the wrong choice after the yellow wire was selected. Realizing the mistake, Zack recreated the video with a key change. Instead of using a piece of paper, he introduced a camera that allowed the bomb maker to observe the setup. Just before cutting the yellow wire, a message appeared on a phone providing information about the red wire. In this revised scenario, the Monty Hall problem was finally explained correctly.
Imagine you're trying to deactivate a bomb with a red, yellow, and blue wire. Now, one of these wires is the correct option, and snipping it will stop the bomb from exploding. But the other two wires will cause the bomb to go off if they're snipped. You choose the yellow wire, but before you snip it, you receive a text from the bomb's manufacturer, who is watching you on a security camera. He informs you that the red wire would detonate the bomb. So now you must choose between yellow or blue. And you might assume that it doesn't matter because it's 50-50, but that's not actually the case. In the beginning, each wire had a 1/3 chance of being correct. When you chose yellow, the other two wires had a combined chance of 2/3. And when red was identified as the wrong wire, the odds didn't actually change, they were just reflected onto the blue wire, which means your chances are better if you switch to blue.
To acknowledge his error, Zack pinned a comment on both the original and updated versions of the video, explaining where he went wrong. However, his next video attracted even more comments pointing out a mistake. In January 2023, Zack uploaded a short explaining why the popular fast food chain KFC changed its name. He claimed that the company was originally called Kentucky Fried Chicken, but had to rebrand as KFC about 30 years ago.
30 years ago, Kentucky Fried Chicken changed their name to KFC. And the reason they did this is not what you think. You see, the rumor was that they wanted to nix the word fried for health reasons. But it turns out that wasn't true. The actual reason they changed their name was because of Kentucky, the state. You see, in order to make more money, the state decided to trademark the word Kentucky. This meant that anyone who used the word would have to pay licensing fees. Kentucky Fried Chicken refused to pay and changed their name instead.
But this wasn't the real story, and many viewers knew it. Soon, comments started pouring in, pointing out Zack's mistake. Realizing something was off, Zack went back to his sources to figure out where he went wrong. During his research, he had come across an article on the news website Snopes, which claimed that Kentucky had licensed its name, forcing the company to change to KFC. However, he had overlooked a crucial detail. The article was labeled with a Lost Legend rating. Snopes had created a collection of fictional stories known as TROLL, the Repository of Lost Legends, designed purely as satire. The editor even stated that these articles were written to fool people, and like many others, Zack fell right into the trap.
No! God, please, no! No!
Acknowledging his mistake, he released a follow-up video just days later, admitting his error and correcting the misinformation.
A few days ago, I posted a video about why Kentucky Fried Chicken changed their name to KFC, and my explanation was wrong. You see, I explained that the name change was KFC's way of nixing the word Kentucky, so they wouldn't have to pay licensing fees. But after posting this video, I noticed some of the comments were claiming I was full of so I retraced my steps and found where I went wrong. You see, I got this information from a Snopes article, but I didn't realize that Snopes had rated this article as Lost Legend. A Lost Legend rating is their way of trolling people, and I fell for it.
This was nowhere near the last time Zack found himself caught in controversy. In the spring of 2022, Zack decided to investigate a magician known as Special Head. You might recognize him from various TV appearances, most notably America's Got Talent, where he performed his most famous illusion stunt. Wrapped in a robe, standing on a carpet with a cane in hand, Special Head began humming in a deep tone. Suddenly, his feet lifted off the ground, and he appeared to rise from ground, holding onto the cane with just one hand. The audience and judges were stunned. How was he doing it? Zack believed he had cracked the secret and shared his theory in a video. He suggested that a hidden metal base was placed beneath the carpet, allowing the cane to lock into it. He also speculated that the magician had a concealed rod inside his sleeve, which he could use to lift himself using core strength.
Have you ever wondered how this magic trick was done? It kind of looks like this trick, except we actually see the magician walking around beforehand. So the explanation can't be an elaborate hidden mechanism underneath his clothing, right? Wrong. This magician sticks his cane into a metal base hidden underneath the rug. The cane then connects to a rod that goes up his sleeve and is attached to a back brace. This back brace is fixed to a harness which allows the magician to use his core strength to lift his legs. Watch the trick again and see if you can notice.
However, Special Head himself responded, pointing out flaws in Zack's explanation. A few days later, he posted a TikTok where he performed the same trick again. This time, he removed his robe to prove there was no harness or hidden support, exposing his bare back under his t-shirt. His demonstration completely invalidated Zack's theory. Recognizing his mistake, Zack later uploaded a short video admitting that his assumption had been wrong.
A few days ago, I showed you how this trick was done, and I was wrong. This is how I originally explained it. Cane, base, rods, back brace, harness. All that's left for the magician to do is use his core strength to pull his legs up. Well, this magician, known as Special Head, left a comment on my TikTok. He also made a response video proving that my theory is wrong. There appears to be no base or harness. In fact, Special Head has some other videos online where he just touches someone's head and levitates. So what's going on here? What's the real explanation to this trick? The answer is that I have no idea.
As we can see, Zack has made a few missteps along the way. However, considering that he has released over 1,300 short videos, it's impressive that he hasn't made even more mistakes. What truly stands out is his willingness to own up to them. Unlike many creators on YouTube today, Zack doesn't shy away from admitting when he's wrong. His genuine apologies show a level of humility that's becoming increasingly rare in the online world.